Before I worked for S.H.I.E.L.D., I made a name for myself.
She's lying. Dude, she's a Skrull. And I'm gonna prove it to all of you on Fan Theories right now.
Welcome to Fan Theories on GameSpot Universe, a new show where we talk about the craziest and best fan theories on the internet, about the shows and movies that we love. And we want to hear your favorite theories, so drop those in the comments below.
Today's theory comes from Greg, who has an awesome one about Captain Marvel and the future of the MCU. Greg?
Greg?
Hey everyone, Greg here. I'm just in Moscow looking for a Russian agent trained as a spy. No biggie. Now, while Black Widow's comic origins start off in Russia, I have a feeling that the MCU equivalent might start off in the Andromeda Galaxy. That's right, I think Black Widow is a Skrull, and here's why. The Skrulls will make their long-awaited cinematic debut in Captain Marvel, a film that will explore the elements of the Kree-Skrull War. These green-skinned aliens have the ability to shapeshift into absolutely anyone. Some Skrulls, like Super Skrulls, are even able to mimic the superhuman abilities of Earth's mightiest heroes. What? What's wrong? Captain Marvel is set years before the MCU timeline, so it's completely possible that the Skrulls might have infiltrated high-level organizations and even became powerful characters already. And this is where the ever-shifting chameleon herself, Black Widow, comes into play. Starting with Iron Man 2 all the way to Infinity War, one of Black Widow's main talents is becoming whatever is necessary to fulfill her mission. With a solo Black Widow film on the way that's conveniently scheduled to drop possibly as soon as 2020, it seems that Marvel may want to have a big lead-in for the film after Endgame. So why not leave fans at the end of the Thanos story arc with a shocking reveal that Natasha is indeed a Skrull? Now, don't get me wrong, this could enrage MCU fans to no end, but if there's one of the OG MCU Avengers that could possibly be a Skrull in disguise, Natasha makes the most sense.
So if any of the friends is a Skrull, it's probably Phoebe.
Jesse, it can't be Phoebe. It has to be Ross.
No, Ross has too much history. I'm
Believe
telling
me,
you.
it's Ross.
It's Phoebe.
What about Ross?
He thinks he's a Skrull.
Ross is a Skrull.
General Ross.
What?
Ross Geller.
What? So anyway, guys, Black Widow's a Skrull, right?
Maybe? Maybe. One of the Avengers is a Skrull.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're at least on that point
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
That one of them is a Skrull if they're gonna
We
do
agree
it.
that at least one of them.
Okay, that's a good starting point. Let's go back to Captain Marvel for a second.
Okay.
All right, now. So we know the Skrull are the big bad for Captain Marvel. Now, can you imagine that that's the only film you're gonna see the Skrull in, though?
No, we're leading to a secret invasion, aren't we?
Yes.
That's definitely going to happen. It's obvious.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
They're planting the roots for a secret invasion.
Now, it won't be maybe a thread like they did with Thanos or anything like that. It could be something more like what they did with Civil War, where they took that whole thing and put it into one film. One singular film, like they did for Captain America. Could they do that for Black Widow?
What do you think?
I do like the idea of obviously moving on from Thanos. I mean, the Skrulls are an obvious big bad to have moving down the line. And then I think, to subvert our expectations on who could be a Skrull is a great idea. So yeah, we're going to get a taste of it in Captain Marvel. And then I think that there's going to be another reveal either at the stinger of Endgame
Or Captain Marvel.
or Captain Marvel.
Post credits?
Yes. In one of the 30 post-credit scenes in Endgame, one of them probably is going to be a Skrull. I just think that's the case. I think one of them is going to be a Skrull. But who is it? Right now, Black Widow for me.
All right.
See, I see at the end of Endgame really tying in the Skrulls after whatever happens at Endgame. We've talked about it numerous occasions in this office.
Well, we've got 3 hours of Endgame, so there is probably going to be time for Skrulls.
And then 30 minutes of stingers at the end of that. But I think that definitely the Skrulls, it's gonna bring us into the next chapter and the next threat that not only that our superheroes are facing, but the world is facing as well.
I think that it's one chapter of many chapters, though. We got the Eternals coming too, so they want to set all of this up. And then the Skrull is just one of the things they want to go with. I think that's not going to end in Captain Marvel, no matter what. I feel like they're going to keep this going.
Okay, so let's talk about the future of the MCU and where we think we'll see some Skrulls.
Okay, so we have a few films that were in the bank. We know they're coming down the pipeline. Black Panther 2. No Skrulls. No.
No Skrulls in Spider-Man.
No Skrulls in Spider-Man. Nope. Well, there could be some Skrull in the background because we have the shield in there, but
We just
we'll
don't
talk about
know.
that later.
We don't know that they're there.
No. Doctor Strange 2.
Maybe.
Okay. But coincidentally, Black Widow is coming out with her own movie.
Yeah.
So, come on.
You know what? Even if she's not a Skrull, I'm not sold yet. Maybe she is, but I think Black Widow is the movie where we do see more Skrull action.
The only thing that my worry about making Black Widow a Skrull, I think I talked to you about this earlier, is that she has her own standalone movies, so making her a Skrull kind of defeats the purpose of going back and learning her story. And I hope it's not a straight origin story. I hope if it's its own little spy thriller, that'd be awesome. But making her a Skrull, it's like I already know what kind of happens to her. It's kind of like giving you the knockout punch before you've actually enjoyed the movie itself.
This is where the MCU are going to do their own thing here, like they've done with everyone's origin story in the past with characters. I just don't think they're going to go into this movie with, all right, here's Black Widow, everyone. Go. Yeah. Here it is. They have maybe Red Sparrow to go off of, but this is Disney, and they're going to want something to get fans to go, I got to watch this movie.
Also, nobody saw Red Sparrow.
Yeah, no one in America saw Red Sparrow.
That's true.
It made its money back.
The Red Sparrow version, or a small-scale version of a Black Widow movie sounds awesome.
Look, if they told me it's straight up going to be just Winter Soldier.
Right.
I'm in.
That'd be great.
But for the fans out there, they may want a little bit more to get them to go buy a ticket and not wait for Netflix or anything.
It's tied into the Secret Invasion.
Yes, they're going to have to tie it into something. And the best way to do that, honestly, is to end Endgame or Captain Marvel with her becoming a Skrull at the end. A body on the ground.
Okay.
She's a Skrull.
Got it. All right, you're making sense. And also, I think it's like 8 years too late for an origin story Black Widow movie, so they need to like move it forward in some direction.
8 years too late. They gotta add something for fans to go, okay, I gotta watch this movie now. If they just came out and said to us, hey, it's gonna be Winter Soldier, sure, I'm there. But they need something else to bring people in.
So you're saying right after we have to deal with the decimation, we're then gonna have to deal with the Secret Invasion.
Yes.
Oh God.
It never ends. Not for the Avengers.
No, guys, these are comic book movies. They gotta keep coming back.
All right, Greg, I want to be honest. I still have some trouble with this theory. Why specifically Black Widow? Give me some more evidence.
Okay, it could
Why
be,
Natasha?
It could be the foreshadowing that MCU was doing in the past with her ever-changing looks, with her hair. I do not believe they just did this to sell toys. I don't believe they just hey, you gotta have her hair changed. Let's make her blonde in this one.
Everyone changes
cut
with
it.
the times, though. Everyone changes fashion with the times.
Yeah.
True.
She's also a comic character.
Yes,
Usually
and
they have
everyone
the
else
same
stays the same.
hair every
Good
single
point.
time. I mean, like Thor got a haircut, but
Yeah,
like
Cap's beard,
she
okay.
gets the most hair changes.
Yes,
I see.
I think
ads.
those are little clues to the audience to let them know every film is a little different. And it can't just be, hey, let's make a little switch for the toys here so we can have something different. No, guys, I think there's more to this.
Okay, so in addition to her appearance changing, what other clues do we have?
No powers, so it's easier for the Skrulls to use her if you want to use that for any of the movies. And also, listen, no matter who they pick from the Avengers, someone's going to be angry. Someone's going to be upset at this.
I'm already upset.
Is it Cap? What are you going to do if it's
No.
Cap? Okay, see? There we go. Is it Iron Man? You already said you think he's going to die.
I think Iron Man's gonna die. Yeah, let's not get into that
yeah.
again. We're gonna upset Chastity.
Waste
Come
of
on.
a Skrull.
Come on, Greg.
Come on,
Let's not upset Chastity again. We already said this.
let's not go back
But yes, they're
there.
going to be Skrulls and they're going to be super Skrulls. So it's not going to just be someone who doesn't have powers and who's just a badass fighter.
Yes, and I would assume that Super Skrulls, at least that name will come out in Captain Marvel. That could be the MacGuffin that they have to race to stop the Skrull from making a Super Skrull. Who knows? But I feel like a Super Skrull is something that's down the line here. And right now, it's just all sleeper cells.
Yeah, I agree that Super Skrulls are farther down the line. I don't think we're going to get that yet, but I think that, it will just be someone without powers at first.
It's a lot to introduce all this new
Exactly.
ideas into a movie, and then, hey, there's a super version, there's a regular version. I think just
Their history is
Yeah.
so convoluted, and
Right.
there's so many things. The Eternals created the Skrull. All of this stuff. MCU, Kevin Feige, they're not going to deal with any of that. So
simplify it.
simplify for everyone. So you may hear a line from someone in the background saying, we have this major project, the Super Skrulls are coming, but that's it. Just the one-liner, and then we move on in the story. And then this is like a heartbreaking, this is going to be soul-crushing for a few fans out there, the Hulk situation here. She could just be getting intel on Hulk if she's a Skrull.
To make a Super Skrull?
Yep.
Oh, no. Don't do that to Bruce. Don't do that to Bruce. Bruce is definitely not a Skrull. I'll tell you that.
No, he wouldn't be.
But,
This would be
yes.
great for the story
Yes.
he would be crushed, and it would give him a drive to go after her or figure out what's going on for secret invasion.
I just want him to be happy.
Sorry, that's not how it works for Bruce Banner. And don't forget about her scene in the original Avengers with Loki. Come on.
Regimes fall every day. I tend not to weep over that. I'm Russian. Or I was.
Now remember all the flashbacks from Age of Ultron with Natasha.
Greg, I tried to forget about Age of Ultron.
We all have, but it's okay. But stick with me here. Remember all those flashbacks.
Yes. Vaguely. Vaguely.
What if they're implanted by the Skrull?
Artificial memories you're talking about.
Yes.
From the Skrulls.
Yes, it's in the
Okay.
comics. They did it to Marvel. Kanar.
Okay.
So when it comes to like Marvel's wiki has, as part of their overall invasion strategy, the Skrull genetically engineered one of their race to be an exact replica of the Kree hero Mar-Vell. They even went to the lengths of infecting him with the same strain of cancer the real Mar-Vell fell victim to, and implanted false memories to make him believe he was a real hero.
That sounds horrible. Wow. So they can
Okay.
actually implant memories
Yes.
into...
Now,
I'm starting to be okay with this now, because if she was still kind of the Natasha we know and love, but she doesn't knowingly, she's not actually doing this of her own accord. Like she has
no
these
idea
implanted
that she's a
memories.
Skrull,
Yeah,
yeah.
she thinks she's Natasha.
yeah.
Okay.
And
okay.
this is why
I'm okay with that.
comic fans and a lot of people hate the Skrull, because of the plot device. You can use anyone.
Right.
Anyone could be a Skrull at any moment. But when we're talking about the Avengers and who it could be, Black Widow.
But
Again,
I think it's the good thing is that it would be just as heartbreaking for, say, Bruce Banner as it would be for herself to find out. the
And
true
there's
nature.
your-
and that's the hook. That's
Yes,
the
that's
emotional
your hook
tie-in that we would
for
all be
the
like,
movie.
wow, it's heartbreaking to see not only the effect on the people around her, but also herself when she finds out the truth.
and that way you also keep her, I don't know how fans will feel about this, but they would keep her origin intact, still having her in Russia, training, but she could not know what's going on actually, and then there's a switch somewhere in between where we get the Skrull and the real Natasha. It would be heartbreaking, but it works. It's a good device to use for the next film. They could also put in there that she's maybe a hybrid Skrull like Taurus Storm, half Skrull, half human, where she just doesn't know her full powers. But at that time, if they use that, then that means she knew the whole time that she was a Skrull and she was just screwing with everyone. I feel like she doesn't know what's going on. More of a sleeper cell thing.
That she's a sleeper cell. I
Yes.
prefer that she just doesn't realize it.
Her memories are always a little hazy.
I just want to see that performance from Scarlett Johansson when she just has the realization and it just dawns on her, and I want to see that.
And when he screams, I'll split his skull.
All right, so what do we know about the actual Black Panther?
Black Panther.
Who is the Black Panther?
So what do we know about the actual Black Widow movies? You're making me laugh just looking at you right now. Why are you making me laugh?
Don't look at him.
I have to look at it.
Just look at his shoulder. Look at his shoulder.
All right, so what do we know about the Black Widow movie? We know that production starts this March and that it's slated for a 2020 release in the springtime, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully they're trying to get it in there in 2020, which again, goes into the theory that they're probably gonna have some tie-in from Endgame to come into this movie to have fans stick around. At the same time, it's apparently going to take place prior to Avengers, the first film.
Interesting.
Yes, it's her origin story, so you got to throw that in there. So when they say that, does that mean the whole movie's going to take place there? Probably not.
We also know that it's going to be directed by Kate Shortland and written by Jack Schaefer.
Yes. At the same time, we don't know anything else about the plot. There's some flimsy rumors out there of what the plot is on the Soviet rebellion. No, there's not enough out there yet to really go into the plot. But right now, all we know is they're dead set at having this movie come out in 2020. What's up?
I think it's a great idea to make it a smaller scale movie in terms of,
Yes.
not the vast. A lot of these movies are going forward to the cosmos and all these space, and it's like if you're
it
gonna have
grounded.
a character, if you're gonna have a character like Black Widow, we want to see a grounded story that's like a really thrilling, exciting thing, but on a smaller scale.
Winter Soldier. It's still my
Yes.
all-time
Yeah.
favorite MCU film. So if they just give me that, I'm fine with that. Now, what do we think about the chances of it being rated
Yes,
R?
please. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Bob Iger talked about this earlier. That
Deadpool will be
Deadpool's still going to be rated
rated
R.
R.
As long as it makes money. That's what they should have put that asterisk in there. As long as it
Yeah.
continues to work. But at the same time, we got to look back at Red Sparrow again. I feel like Disney saw that.
You really love
You had
that
your
movie,
star. It's okay. It's not that great. But Disney can look at this and go, all right, Jennifer Lawrence, they had their star. That was rated R. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes. They can cut that down, say, let's make it rated R still. We have our star power. Let's see if we can make this work with our Avengers power. Give her a few heroes in there. Wade Wilson, who knows at this point.
I think there's going to be a lot of pushback from Disney to make Black Widow a rated R film, and I don't know if they'll have confidence that she can carry the film by herself, unfortunately. So I feel like they'll be like, no, bump it down to PG-13 so more people can see it.
I
agree.
agree. I mean, to be honest, it's long overdue. It's only the second MCU movie with a female protagonist after Captain Marvel, so I think that they want the biggest audience to see this film.
Yeah.
They're all going to get together and do a little team huddle and go 1, 2, 3. Let's not screw this up.
Yeah.
Everyone, let's make a nice movie, just like they did with Ant-Man and Wasp, just a clean, friendly film. But this is a serious, grounded film where they got to do something like Winter Soldier here. Again, we say Winter Soldier every 5 seconds, but it's
one of the
so
better
tied
ones.
to this. And I feel like that's where they got to go with it.
No,
Even
this
though,
is the John Wick of the MCU movies.
Hell
This-
yes.
This
Yeah.
is what I want.
So I guess you have a choice. You want a war? Or do you want to just give me a gun?
All right, so if it's not Black Widow, let's
Okay.
talk about some other candidates that it might be a Skrull. There are probably multiples, but let's talk about other ones. My favorite has to be War Machine, Rhodey.
Yeah?
Okay.
It's right
Tell
there in the
us
title,
why.
guys. The Skrull War. The Skrull War Machine.
Skrull
War Machine. They're telling us. They've literally been telling
That's
us
a
this whole time.
stretch, Ryan Peterson.
And they swapped the actual actors, Terrence Howard and Don Cheadle.
That's something
I mean,
for a Deadpool
how
movie they can
obvious-
make fun of.
How obvious of a swap is that? It's a wink wink. That'd be hysterical. They're also Skrulls.
They knew from the beginning that they were going to recast and they
No,
had to replace
but-
Terrence Howard.
In all seriousness.
now you have me thinking of the Avengers Endgame trailer and then
Deadpool style.
No, yeah, or just where Bruce Banner's just like so sad in the photos, and they should just had Terrence Howard in this photo up there instead as the old Rhodey.
I mean, it would be a funny wink wink to the fact that the actors did get swapped.
Yes.
If this character
Well,
does
if that's
become
your
a Skrull.
case, then there are also two Bruce Banners.
That's a good point as well.
But
We'll
it's
get to
not
that.
Bruce Banner.
But more on a serious note, who better than to be revealed as a Skrull as one of the biggest characters' best friends, Tony Stark? The reveal of and the betrayal of one of his closest confidants would be pretty big impact on Tony Stark.
Now that would involve Tony Stark coming back for more films, though.
What if Tony's already
In
dead?
Endgame,
Then what's the point?
the reveal of Rhodey being a Skrull would almost destroy Tony.
And
we all agree.
kills him. It's
Not-
the
not-
final
not that-
blow.
not
That's
that-
how he dies. Okay.
Not that final thing that kills him, but I think it would be pretty remarkable moment and an impactful moment, more so than if someone else was a Skrull, that Tony finds out his best friend this entire time, or since, let's say, Iron Man 1 and 2 was a Skrull.
You know, Rhodey is walking pretty well considering he fell out of the sky.
Thank you, Chastity.
even with
Another
the
piece
tech.
of evidence.
Even
Thank
with
you.
the tech.
How the hell does Rhodey fall from the sky, thousands of feet in the air, and survive that fall? And then he's paralyzed for a little bit, but not really. He recovers pretty quickly, even with those nice legs that Tony Stark made him.
He's got no powers.
He's got no powers. That's a regular human being. If you fall from the sky, that's death. Unless you have some alien super abilities that allow you to safely fall.
Didn't Tony make him those legs so he could walk again?
Even
and then
with
also,
those,
they
I'm
have
pretty
to do,
sure
like,
I would-
X-rays
Greg,
and stuff.
even with
What
those
if you could
legs,
tell-
you're recovering
Years of-
years
What if
of
they did
physical
an
therapy. You're in the
Years.
hospital for a long time. Years of physical therapy. Like, you don't just get up. And then he's fighting in Infinity War in Wakanda. He's fine. Like, that's a pretty quick turnaround.
It's mostly the suit. He couldn't do much without that suit on. I'm just saying that.
Greg, there
It's
are
a lot.
athletes that break their legs and they're out for multiple years. I mean, come on. There's no way that he's fighting in Wakanda
This is getting
unless he has
really
some
tense.
special abilities. So if you're the Skrulls, you want to target someone who has a high level of military clearance, right? Who's close to an arms manufacturer, who's very, very up there in the government. You want to infiltrate the government, right?
Yes.
So Rhodey is a perfect target to swap.
Right.
He's very close to Tony Stark, obviously. He knows Tony Stark's deepest secrets, mostly, and he knows the technology that they're using as well. Now, there's a very specific moment in Iron Man 2. If you remember, they're fighting in the Malibu house. He has the Mark II equipment on, right? Rhodey does. They get into a fight, and they beat each other up. Then he leaves the party to go to Edwards Air Force Base. Find all this footage, Dave. He leaves the party to go there. It's a 2-hour drive, guys. In my Prius, I can drive there in maybe 3 hours. But he flies over there, but doesn't show up until the morning. What happened during that time frame?
It's a movie.
The Skrulls, no, Greg, it's not more than just a movie, Greg. Something happened and the Skrulls swapped, or he shared some information with them. It's very weird that this huge time gap happens at that moment.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
If you're a Skrull, you want to learn everything about this technology. You also want to have high military clearance, the ability to call off airstrikes, the ability to be in touch with high government officials.
There's a few other people then that can be on that list as
Greg,
well.
I'm not done with War Machine yet.
Oh God. Oh God.
Greg, you ignorant slut.
Remember, Rhodey, sorry to scare you guys, but Rhodey is one of the few heroes to actually sign the Sokovia Accords, which
Yeah.
He was
ended
pretty
up
quick about
weakening, yeah, he was really quick, a little too quick, at weakening the Avengers, obviously, and splitting them into two groups. So if you're a Skrull, again, you want to weaken this group of superheroes and put them against each other and try to pick off the ones when you can.
It's true. But also Skrulls, they're playing the long game here. They just need to watch and report back. They just
Which
need
is
to report.
exactly what Rhodey's been doing.
Also, Black Widow's been there the entire time, and a few other people, including, well, General Ross.
That
Friends.
seems
From Friends.
From Friends.
No.
Ross Geller. I'm glad you finally came around.
General Ross, cut. Now with General Ross, he was also in favor of the Accords too. So you have that, and also he's not going to piss anyone off if they pick Ross.
Everyone's like,
problem
yeah,
with
But I feel like
obviously.
Ross.
That's the problem.
I'm all on board Ross being a Skrull, and I have a feeling he is a Skrull. I'm like 99% certain that they'll probably have him be a Skrull, but Black Widow too.
I'm with you on this.
I agree with you. I don't think that if you
It's
just
not
make
just
Ross
one.
a Skrull, it's be like,
Okay,
so what?
cool.
Like
Yeah.
it needs to be someone else with impact, and that's
Yes.
why Black Widow and War Machine are probably Skrulls.
And they're all talking to each other, and then you realize they're all Skrulls because
Right,
they're all
maybe
sharing
you-
information.
You have highly trained superheroes as well as people in the government.
With
Yes.
a lot of power and influence.
And Ross is way up there in the government, so it makes so much sense. And comparing his character from what it was in the first Incredible Hulk film to what it is in Civil War,
Quite a change.
yep.
Yeah, he's the obvious Skrull.
Now, William Hurt, who plays Ross in the MCU, he even spoke about the difference in the character from, all these different films, specifically from Incredible Hulk to Civil War. And he talked with IGN. He said, quote, "What they've done is taken a character who was the Ross from the older film and made a new version. This is a much newer Ross, a much different Ross, and I like that a lot. I haven't had the time to understand it, but I'm doing the best I can," end quote. So clearly the direction they were going with this character was one of change and different, he changed throughout the course of the films, and even the actor is being directed that way as well. So it wouldn't surprise me, obviously, if they do make some other entity controlling that change.
Do you think that could be the big reveal, or if that is the big reveal at the end of, let's say, Captain Marvel? That's one of the end credit scenes where a Skrull you thought died at the end, he gets up, just dusts himself off, and then all of a sudden the camera pans up and it's Ross.
William Hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
De-aged. William
I still
Hurt.
would want it to be more impactful than that.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
not
be
gonna-
like,
that's not
I'd
gonna
be
work.
like, what? Who? I mean,
It needs to
we
be
all
a bigger
nerd
character.
out over these characters and we know everything, but you kind of need to hit people over the head with it and be like, it's a bigger reveal than that instead of
I
just
agree.
like, hey Ross. And
I
be like,
agree. He's probably a Skrull,
Right.
but he's not going to be the one they reveal.
So we need a Skrull reveal at that point that's bigger than Ross, but less impactful than Black Widow. So who could it be? It could be someone like Falcon. That would be less impactful, and the fans wouldn't be as pissed off. They'd still be upset, but I feel like that's the tier that we need to hit.
If Disney was like, okay, we may get some flack if we take anyone. Let's do maybe Falcon. Yeah, and it would also, I can see that driving the rest of the Avengers to figure
Someone
out what
who's
the hell's
close
going
to
on.
the Avengers, someone who's close to a main Avenger, 'cause he's very close to Steve. That would shake him up.
But the thing is, with Steve, are we sure he's going to be around in the future films? Who knows at this point? But if we're going with the fact that maybe he dies and Tony dies, then that takes out really the drive for a Rhodey character or a Falcon to come in. Back to Black Widow.
Yeah. And then
because
that
of
would
the Hulk.
also knock out Falcon as next Cap, and then
Yes.
it's Bucky.
It gets
if Bucky
messy.
comes
It
back.
gets very messy.
Bucky for Cap.
I love Bucky for Cap.
Bucky for Cap. But who else could it be? Maybe it's Hawkeye. I think that the one that rejoins the team is not the one who retired. That is a new man. Look at him. He's very different. It's not just the haircut. Look at his eyes. That
So
is
this
not
Ronin-
the Hawkeye that retired.
So Ronin is the Skrull.
I don't know
and
who that
Hawkeye
is.
we won't see again.
That's a Skrull.
That's a Skrull.
That's a Skrull.
The only problem is that he looks like he's changed from his demeanor in these trailers and teasers, but half the world's also vanished, and probably including his family. So you can understand the change in character.
And that's
Clint's
more of a
dead.
toy thing. I think that is a toy thing for the Ronin character.
Clint
we need
is
to get
dead.
Clint. Oh, okay, yes, Clint. Maybe he is dead. And also, well, you can say he's a Skrull because of the lines, again, that Natasha said to Loki in the first Avengers film. Well, Clint and Natasha have a strong tie from at least what we saw in Avengers. So if one of them's a Skrull, then the other one probably has to be a Skrull as well. So I'm on board with Hawkeye, but then what about his family?
That's when it gets really dicey for me if you start involving like family members and stuff like that.
Because then you're like, what? Oh, the
That's
baby's a
what I'm
Skrull too?
saying.
What's going on?
That Clint is human. He had human babies.
Okay.
But he's dead.
And the new
And
version.
He was
New
dusted,
Clint.
and there's a new Clint.
New Clint
Okay.
is a Skrull. They're like, oh, Clint, you're okay. So glad you survived the
No,
snap.
he's not.
That's not Clint. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And now finally, the one character I think in all of the MCU that I feel like this is a no-brainer that they're probably going to use, Maria Hill. Come on.
That would finally give her some personality.
Yeah, it would give her some drive in these
Seriously.
films.
Talk about impact. I would.
She's
I
been
would
there.
start cheering in the theater.
I know.
I'm
I would too.
I'm joking. Actually, I wouldn't cheer. It needs to be someone way more impactful.
If it's Maria Hill, you're gonna hear crickets. You'll hear crickets in the audience.
Literal crickets.
But she's been there in everything. She's been around. They even had time to put her in Infinity War at the end with. They could have had anyone else with, but they had to have her there. I feel like she's been around in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's been around in almost every Avengers film, just to have her there so they can go later on have those flashbacks with her talking back to Skrull HQ somewhere later on.
Skrull HQ. Where do you think it's located?
Yeah, where's that located?
The Andromeda Galaxy. Damn it.
Keep it.
It's no.
Skrull HQ. Where do you think it's located?
The moon.
Did they get like lunch benefits, like a cafeteria, or what's going on there?
Wait, didn't the something on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they go to the moon or something already?
I already forgot and erased it from my brain.
No. Andromeda Galaxy, whatever. There's some ship out in space that's invisible. That is some quick line written in the screenplay.
So then what do you think about Nick Fury?
Just like that. Nick Fury? Ooh.
It's not Nick Fury.
Ooh.
Nick Fury's not a Skrull.
I mean, hey, Captain Marvel, 90s.
It's been around
All that
Exactly.
time.
He's been around for quite some time.
He's
Stain
been
and
there.
S.H.I.E.L.D..
He's there already. He's not like he's in Captain Marvel.
And he
Could've
did
been
not
swapped back then,
die in Winter Soldier. He didn't die.
He
in Winter
escapes
Soldier,
everything,
he
yeah.
escapes everything.
He
Even when
does.
you think he's about to just be on the last breath, it's not happening. That, if they want to put a little twist on the first time we saw Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man and have him come out again, this time he transforms into a Skrull at the end of Endgame, That's impactful.
I see it more like everyone just thinks and assumes he is because of the way he is, and then they just start throwing evidence at him. They're like, but you survived this, and you must be a Skrull. He's like, you idiots, I've been here from the start.
Yeah.
Like, I was with Captain Marvel.
That's something
Captain
like-
Marvel, am I a Skrull? Captain Marvel would know. Am I a Skrull? And she'd be like, no, he's not a Skrull. They're like, thank you. And then they're like, oh, we're so sorry, Nick. Oh,
Sorry about
we're
that.
so sorry.
That's something for the Secret Invasion movie where everyone thinks that Nick Fury is a
Yes.
Skrull, and he's got it's like the thing where
He's the
everyone's,
red
all right,
herring
we're going to
Skrull."
do our test and see who's a Skrull, and then it gets to Nick Fury and he's sweating. But then I think it's just revealed that he's not. Somebody in
what
this...
test do you take in order to figure this out? This would have been much easier than this
Pee
whole.
on a stick.
That's what I know. I think... What? I hope there's an out.
Oh my God, you're a Skrull!
Also, you're pregnant.
Also, you're pregnant. Hey.
Congratulations. But also, get off my planet.
Okay, guys, let's vote on this. Now, how likely is it that Natasha is a Skrull? I'd say
70.
70%. I'll take that.
Wow.
I'll take that. I'm
You
going
sold
very
me.
likely.
You sold me.
Okay.
I'm taking 2 out of 6 Infinity Stones.
2 out of... What's the percentage on that?
Not great.
Okay.
Okay, fine. You can have your 2 out of 6, whatever. Who do you think is a Skrull then? Definitely a Skrull. If you had to pick one person other than...
Did you hear him?
Greg, I'm not done with War Machine yet. I'm team War Machine is a Skrull. 6 out of 6 Infinity Stones.
Were you here? He talked about it for like 15 minutes.
Don't make me yell at you again.
Oh my God.
He got really scary.
Yeah.
I'm going with Black Widow and General Ross.
I like the
Skrulls.
General Ross. Yeah, I like General Ross.
General Ross, Maria Hill, and
Maria
Hawkeye.
Hill, but Maria Hill's like, also, I was a Skrull.
Dun,
Cool.
dun, dun.
Oh, you're here?
Oh.
Oh,
All
you're
right.
still here?
Sweet.
All right, we're a little tense in here, so you let us know who you think the Skrull is or Skrulls in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see more fan theories coming your way.
And guys, let me know if I'm right, if War Machine is a Skrull. I think I'm right.
He just wants to be told he's right, but it's Hawkeye.
I have a feeling they're going to want no one is a Skrull. They're going to say that.
Skrull.
Skrull. Bye,
Aunt
everybody.
May?
Oh.